Choices in isolation, and other things drama school won't tell you. Chapter 6, The Collective Return Model, a New Deal for Artists. I can't simply critique the system without proposing a better one. The current economic model is extractive. It funnels wealth to the top and leaves the majority struggling. We need a model based on collective success and dignity. I call this the collective return model, and its main criteria is transparency. It has 3 pillars. 1. A dignity wage. Significantly higher minimum weekly rates for all actors, negotiated by equity. This ensures that no professional actor is forced into poverty while working. I know actors who take a financial hit leaving their civvy job to act. That's fucked. 2. The success pool. A fixed percentage of a production's net profits, for example 5 to 10%, is placed into a collective pool. This is separate from any individual star's back-end deal. Every actor who works on the production, from lead to day player, receives a share based on a transparent formula. Example, points per day worked. This means everyone shares in the success they help create. 3. Radical transparency. Transparency, transparency, transparency. The success pool must be audited by an independent third party to avoid creative accounting. Trust is non-negotiable. None of us really know where the profits go. I worked 5 weeks on a film once. My current weekly fee is just shy of £2,000. I was paid £800 in total. It's a passion project. They have a great cast. Your scenes are with the leads. The script is incredible. And all that was true, but the A-listers attached, I'm willing to bet they got way more than I did, and I'm willing to bet I get next to no kickbacks from a film that is incredibly successful. That film made its money back, and then some. From self-tape exploitation to economic justice. To fight for this model is directly linked to the issues in Chapter 4. If productions refuse to build proper edition fees into their budgets, forcing us to absorb the time and cost of self-tapes, then the compensation on the back end must be radically improved. The current system expects us to invest endlessly in our own careers with no guaranteed return. That investment must be recognised. I am nearly 50. I have worked with major streaming channels, terrestrial TV, and in massive computer games, and I am currently looking for yet another part-time job. This is the reality for the vast majority of us. The pittance offered in residuals for the majority of successful projects is an insult. We are told to be grateful for the exposure while the profits are hoarded. A good friend of mine, after moving to a massive agent, was told regarding their last 3 deals, "You have been criminally underpaid your entire career." I was astounded, as I had thought their fees were substantial. It revealed the staggering gap between what is possible and what most of us are told is standard. I've sat at tables with actors earning $500,000 for 10 weeks' work, while my agent was akin to an angry bee delivering a TED talk to get me £4,000. Why is there not a conversation about proportional pay? If an actor is doing 10% of the work of the lead, why shouldn't they receive 10% of the fee? The idea would make production houses sick, but it highlights the grotesque inequality. The need for radical transparency has never been more urgent. I was in a successful play that was broadcast globally. Based on ticket prices and viewer numbers, the revenue was significant. Yet, we were first told it made no profit, and then that it did, then that it didn't. Our push for transparency was met with a wall of silence. This is standard practice. Let's take a concrete example from another medium, video games. I play a main role in a very successful game. The game was made for around £80 million and has sold an estimated 7 million copies. At a conservative base price of £40, that's 280 million in revenue. Even after platform cuts and marketing, the profit is colossal. All I would ask for is 0.2% of 50% of the profit, a minuscule fraction, and yet this is railed against. Equity does not even effectively fight for residuals in games. This is not a big ask. It is a fair share. That 0.2% could transform an actor's life, replacing years of financial anxiety with the stability to actually be creative. This example is flawed, by the way. Computer games are somehow excluded from any back-end deals. Why? Who the fuck knows? How can we be creative and proactive when we are in survival mode all the time? Current residuals for the majority are pennies. Imagine what we could achieve if we didn't have to constantly worry. We helped create something amazing. Why can't we all relish in its success? This isn't a pipe dream. The Lord of the Rings trilogy operated a pool profit participation system that included a wide range of contributors, fostering a legendary sense of ensemble and shared mission. It can be done. The illusion of success. On paper, my career trajectory looks like a success story. If you had told me at the start of 2024 that by mid-2025 I would have booked 8 filming gigs, I would have assumed I was finally on secure financial ground. Surely that volume of work in a major industry translates into stability, perhaps even a mortgage. Lols. The reality is a brutal lesson in industry economics. Those 8 gigs netted me less than £30,000 before deductions. After accounting for child maintenance, rent, bills, agent fees and tax, that sum evaporates into another year of just getting by, of precarity masked by a seemingly impressive CV. The disparity is etched into my friendships. I have pals, not global stars, but actors represented by top-tier agencies who earned over £100,000 from just 3 jobs. Therein lies the difference. It is not a gap in talent or hustle. It is a chasm in access to the financially rewarding work. I'm at a stage in my career when I can say confidently that I do not want fame. It means nothing to me, and in some cases, I feel sorry for my mates at the top. This leads to the most depressing and certain truth of my professional life. On the rare occasion I receive an audition for a substantial job, which is 4 to 12 weeks of work, I know with absolute certainty that it does not matter what I do on that tape. The role has already been earmarked for a client from a top-tier agency. And every single time, without fail, I am proven correct. Some may call this cynicism or a defeatist attitude. They are wrong. It is realism, hard-won from 16 years of evidence. I still submit the best tape I can every single time. It is a point of personal and professional pride. It is the one thing I can control. At least I submitted a strong tape, I tell myself. That's all I can do. And then, maybe you should have paused a bit longer, got a bit angrier, laughed at that bit, etc., etc. But that mantra is a coping mechanism for a broken system. The truth remains, the most financially rewarding gigs, the ones that could actually transform a life, flow in one direction only. Acknowledging this isn't defeatism. It is the first step toward demanding that the value of work be separated from your agent's office. The success trap. An actor with a CV boasting major television series, acclaimed films, and award-winning stage work should be financially stable. In any other profession, a CV of equivalent success would guarantee security. Yet in ours, we are told to be grateful for the work itself and to accept the gig economy reality of part-time jobs and perpetual shaky grounds as a necessary trade-off. This is not a trade-off. It is a systemic failure. The root of this failure is a profound lack of transparency, as I've already touched on. We have no access to the simple maths. How much does a production we helped build need to make to be profitable, and where do those profits actually go? We are told that a show we starred in, a film that sold for millions to a streamer, or a play that toured the world somehow broke even, leaving us with a flat fee while the back-end profits are funneled upwards and obscured by creative accounting. The collective return model is not a radical ask. It is the necessary correction to this opaque and exploitative system. True sustainability for the artistic workforce will only arrive when we are treated as genuine stakeholders, entitled to see the books and share in the success we create. Until then, the gig economy remains a polite term for institutionalised exploitation. The payday paradox, performing on an empty stomach. The financial reality of acting is a deliberate roller coaster designed to keep you precarious. There is zero continuity. You might be paid weekly in theatre, a fleeting taste of stability, but in television, where fees are higher, the first payment can take a month to land. So you find yourself on set, delivering lines for a multi-million-pound production, and your bank account is echoingly empty. The disparity is a constant humiliation. You are acting alongside leads earning more in a day than you will for the entire job, all while wondering how you'll afford to eat the rest of the week. I have lost count of the times I've asked for extra food from craft services to get through a filming day. This is an indictment of a system that forces professionals into survival mode. Remember, you've had to leave your civilian job, your actual source of income, to take this role, unless you have a miraculously understanding manager. When that first payment finally arrives, it isn't a windfall, and you immediately settle debts with family and friends who floated you through the weeks of radio silence. Each job pays differently and arrives on an arbitrary schedule, turning the simple act of paying bills into a source of gut-wrenching stress. You're on set, trying to focus on the director's notes, to make nuanced creative choices, while your brain is screaming a more basic question. How do I feed my kids this week? How am I going to pay for the after-school club? It's a genuinely horrible existence. But when you're an actor in your bones, you will forgive this. You will rationalise the hunger and distress as the price of admission. You'll accept the in-lieu payment structure that keeps you on the brink. And that is exactly what those at the top rely on. Your passion as a tool for your own exploitation. It shouldn't be like this. My payment is in the ether and should land in my account soon. Me speaking to my landlord when my direct debit has bounced. The solution isn't a mystery. We need a fundamental rewiring, better base pay, equitable back-end deals, and a week's payment up front, not in lieu. These are not radical demands. They are the basic foundations of a dignified professional life. Small changes that would, for the majority of artists, really help. I can't state that enough. This model acknowledges that a production's success is a collective achievement and that financial rewards should reflect that. It allows the star to still be rewarded handsomely while ensuring the actor playing the bartender isn't on universal credit when the show becomes a global hit. It is the necessary paradigm shift from a culture of extraction to one of shared success.